plot. It started. Get it together. Hi, I need to put my hair up. I can't have hair at a time like this. Hey, what's up? It's me. I can't believe that I still have a YouTube channel and that NEOPETS even acknowledges my existence. But they do, and I'm here today to talk to you about something that I have been dying to talk to you about for ever since the last time I talked to you about it, actually. The plot. Sorry. The plot at neopets.com, the plot that's happening on neopets.com. Ever heard of it? It's happening right now. Be normal. I'm here to talk to you today about the plot. The plot. Sorry, I just can't believe I'm saying that in 2024. It's gonna be really hard to make this video, I think. Let me paint you the picture. It was 2004, pretty tumultuous time in the world, honestly, but if you were a child, all was right in the world. Just kidding, it was also a tumultuous time for you as a child if you played Neopets, because Meridel was embroiled in a war that they started with the Dargan Citadel and their fearless leader, Lord Cass, my husband. That was a plot that happened. It was called the Battle for Meridel. And I remember as a child having a Neopets account, going on, trying to feed my pets, but like, it's hard to ignore that something's happening, that like there's a war happening. There's a war that has broken out in my peaceful online community. And then almost immediately after that, another plot started happening. And it was another big, huge plot that I was a part of. And it just kept happening. Every year there was like a new insane situation, kind of like real life. Honestly, it's like sometimes there's a pandemic plot in real life, am I right? In the case of Neopets, it was great because you get prizes for helping out, you get recognition for helping out. And that's why I'm so excited to return to Neopia and just completely lose myself in the escapism that is a Neopets plot. If you have never had the intense honor of partaking in a Neopets plot, you may be wondering, what is this woman on the internet freaking out about? Why did she eat a hole through her drywall? Like, what was the reason for that? For her eating a hole through the drywall of her room? Why did she do that? Actually, the hole is not visible. Never mind. She did not eat a hole through the drywall. She didn't eat any drywall, but she was thinking about eating it. Why was that? What was the reason for that behavior? Good question. I mean, I don't have to explain Neopets to you. It's just Neopets. Virtual pet website, feed your pets, but like, wait, there's more. There's so much more, actually. There's everything, actually. There's not only just the games and pets, but so much. I have videos about like what is Neopets, but in general, it's just another way to live your life. Honestly, it's just a planet that we all live on and we are just doing our best, grinding, trying to make money, trying to better ourselves. We live in a society, both here and there. And when you live in a society, things happen. And that's what a plot is. It's when something happens. But unlike regular life, real life, like the things that happen, I mean, they're bad. They definitely are bad, actually. And they affect your life in Neopets, and they affect everybody else's life in Neopets. Some of your favorite characters' lives are affected. It's like a train wreck. You just hate to see it, but you can't look away. And not only is it like a train wreck where you just like are watching, you're actually the EMT. Yes, you are. Can you hurry the hell up? They're bleeding out right there. Go, get in there. You're actually such a big part of it. You need to get right to work. Plots on Neopets are interactive stories that impacts the website and its lands and its features and its characters. It introduces characters, it affects the lore, and it introduces new lore and history to the story of Neopets. They encourage and really require player participation, and so it just builds this sense of community. Like, we're all in this together, we're all dealing with this, we're following this big story, and then once it's over, it's over. It's like something that we witnessed that happened. It happened and now it's over, and like that's just a part of our history, but we're still talking about it, and like the effects are still being felt to this day, which is crazy. I mean, there's a reason why I'm freaking out eating my drywall. You can't see it, thankfully. There's a hole in the drywall. I ate it. I did eat it. I consumed it. I just find it to be such an element of Neopets that is so unlike anything else that you can find on the internet. Just the way that it is, the way that it entwines with the whole website and gets everybody involved and like gives everybody a job to do. The weirdness of the storytelling that they've always had this like weird element of weirdness to the storytelling that is just so beautiful and so uniquely Neopets. It's the main element, at least for me, that really tethers you to this weird website. So I could sit here and tell you like, oh, it's an interactive story. Everybody participates. There's history and lore that go into it. But until you go on Neopets and participate in a plot, you won't fully understand the gravity of what I mean by that. When they first announced this plot was happening, that's why like people went crazy about that announcement. This is truly what breathes life into Neopets. In the past, it was just like text on a screen with images. Then it became flash animations. And then in 2004, Battle for Meridell, that was the first plot that ever introduced this iconic comic style of storytelling that has more or less persisted with every plot since. There's a few exceptions here and there, but this is the method of storytelling that people love and come to expect from Neopets plots. We get our little bits of story every few days, but we also get to know the characters that are carrying that story. And these characters from these stories, they oftentimes go on to have their own enduring presence across Neopets, far past just the plot. So like if you find your little blurbo in one of these stories, you're like, that's my character, that's my personality, Lord Cass right there. Yes, that's my man right there. He did nothing wrong. I love him. Then you can go on to, collect all the items that they make representing this character. And if you're really lucky and your favorite character didn't get blasted into a pile of green smoke by 3 malevolent spirits who were consuming his mind, body, and soul, then you might be able to visit your favorite character, whether they're running a shop in Neopia or maybe they have a really nice game where you get to play as them as opposed to a very mean, cruel, bullying game. You might get to see them again in other plots or in other little events or in the advent calendar. Everybody who you meet in these plots becomes a part of Neopian culture and history. There's also been dailies that have come out of plots that are run by these characters. As far as the player participation goes, there's so many ways that we participate in a plot. If you so choose, you can train your Neopet and buy them weapons and get them geared up to go into the battle dome to fight. And during these plots, a lot of the war plots is what we call them, you have specific plot challengers that come at all different levels. So any level battle domer can participate. Other plots in the past have featured puzzles that are really fun. Oftentimes they introduce a ton of mini games that are like plot specific that you can only do during the plot that are really cool. And all of that accumulates into your rewards for the plot participation. A lot of the time you get a trophy or some kind of indication on your user lookup that you participated in this plot. And a lot of the time it comes with avatars, which is another thing we love to collect so much. And those can be so specific to just that plot. You can never get it again once that plot is over. So that's a cool aspect of it. And then of course you get tons of prizes based on your participation in the plot, and the prizes are always so worth it. So hopefully that gives you a good idea, a good roundabout idea of what a plot is on Neopets, what they entail, and what you can kind of come to expect through these plots. But I know that that was just a brief overview, and that's why we are going to take a even closer look at this particular plot, The Void Within, which is happening right now on neopets.com in 2024. Yeah, so we're gonna go on to neopets.com. I'm gonna kind of show you what is going on right now, what has happened so far. Where do I even start? We've been working up to this plot for quite a while. I've recapped most of this stuff in past videos, so I highly recommend checking those out. There's also a plot timeline that's really handy on the hub of the Void Within plot, but just as quick as I can possibly muster. Festival of Negs 2023, we met Orion. He's a fortune teller. Next was the 2023 Fairy Festival, hosted by both Illison and Eudora, two fairies who famously hate each other. Allegedly, they don't. They do, but they don't. It's complicated. Anyway, they ended up having to work together to solve a mystery because we had some evil afoot. Somebody was trying to weaken the fairies, and it culminated in our first plot teaser. We saw Vera and some slay hot baddie dark fairy with horns. She and Vera were watching the entire fairy festival unfold, and they're plotting, planning, scheming. There's also the scary paintbrush in the corner. Oh no. The girlies are girl bossing in a cave, evilly. Not good. Then we had Halloween, and it was basically just a bunch of really scary, spooky stories written either by or about some of the most iconic Neopets villains of all time, and it was just bad vibes all around. Something big and awful is coming. Then we had the advent calendar, where Orion showed up looking like he had been hit by a bus and then a train and then a car and somehow miraculously survived. He hadn't been sleeping because he was having horrific visions, and finally he was able to show us those visions, and they consisted of an Aisha and her Feli lost somewhere across time and space in a place we've never seen before, and they are clearly being pursued by some kind of scary monster. And I just want to note that while they were there doing that, running away from the monster, just couldn't help but notice that Lord Cass's sword was in the rock in the background. This is going to be our protagonist. Her name is Nyx, and it's not a good situation for them in the void. They're being chased by these tentacle-y creatures, and at one point the Feli gets grabbed and the Aisha saves him. They both end up touching this void creature, and it does something to their skin. It gives them like this weird void rash. The Feli ends up using all the last bits of his little strength to throw together this little device that helps with the void stuff on their skin that's like corrupting their entire body and making them weak, and it looks really painful. And so he ends up giving it to the Aisha and kind of sacrificing himself, but he's not dead. Apparently he's just in critical condition and needs help right away. The Aisha discovers what the Feli's done and how sick he's become, and just obviously reacts really badly to that and screams. She's like, no, why did you do this? And her emotions rip a hole in the void, and they're able to see Bright Veil and a paintbrush being wielded by a mysterious gray figure. A few months later, we just woke up one day to this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and it just kept happening, and it hasn't stopped. And then we had the 2024 Festival of Negs. Kari, the beautiful, happy, vibrant Neg fairy, has also now come down with the gray curse. She got the gray, and Orion steps in to help with the Festival of Negs, and he starts having visions again, and basically it pulls us down to Molterra, where we find a mysterious musical cylinder that's there in the lava. So that's weird. And then the plot started. All right, now that we got our quirky little recap out of the way, there's a few things that were released that I wanted to look at because I think that they could be important for future predictions. I think we can glean a lot of information from them. So let's go take a look at those. So first we have this ominous, weird, no context diary entry written by our dear Baelia, the Gray Fairy. And just so that you have some background on Baelia, just really quick, Baelia used to be a light fairy, as far as I know. She got captured by a dark fairy named Jenu Mara, who I guess was just seeking a thrill and just wanted to kidnap someone and ruin their life, destroy their life, and also keep them in a cage on top of a mountain. Sick stuff, honestly. Very sick information. It's a sick case. It really is. So she's on the top of a mountain, and she has had her wings clipped. And when a fairy has their wings clipped, they turn gray. They lose their powers. They don't have any powers. It's so sad. And they're also afflicted by kind of just this overcast cloud of depression within them forever, I guess. She was on top of a mountain in a cage when a Kyrie mountain climber named Tavi was climbing the mountain and came across this insane situation of a fairy in a cage crying. There was a talking lock involved and like a test of wits. Tavi was able to outsmart the lock and got Baelia out, and they're like, let's get you your wings back. Let's get this gray off ya. And that was 20 years ago, so I don't think they figured it out. But anyway, that's Baelia's story, and here's her diary entry. Dear diary, long ago I took on this form. My powers were taken, but I went on and continued. It's not been easy, and I know that something irreplaceable was taken from me. Darkness lurks in my mind and makes my heart ache. I've met a new friend, looking inside, gaining hopeful thoughts. Baelia. Just want to know, did you notice that the last line spells light, looking inside, gaining hopeful thoughts? You know what I mean? So it's like, oh my God, what? Bailey is really seeming to get her moment, and more on that later for sure. So in addition to this little journal entry, they also released a bunch of these really, really cool, creepy, awesome posters for a handful of lands across Neopia. And as much as I want to go into every little detail of all of them in this video, I won't have time for that with just everything else we have to go over, but I still did it. I still went over them, every little detail. And I'm putting together an additional video for just that. And so that should be out pretty soon as well. But I highly recommend, even if you don't check that out, just looking at all these posters and trying to see what you can find and what you can draw from it, because I think there's a lot of really interesting implications there. And yeah, definitely check those out because they're so cool. I think it's like one of the coolest marketing, like lead up, trickle of information type things that they've done for this plot. I love it. And then one more weird specific thing that happened leading up to the plot starting was that the money tree was turned gray. How horrendous is that? But not only do we have to deal with our happy, beautiful, wise tree being gray, we also have to sift through all of these threatening, haunting, disturbing gray items that have been donated to the money tree by an anonymous, mysterious Yerbil. Mysterious Yerbil, huh? You mean this mysterious Yerbil? Mysterious Yerbil? Is that you? Yerbils, explain. Hello? Is that your guy? All right, so we are here on neopets.com, obviously, and I'm just going to kind of briefly run you through some of the things that have happened, but I urge you to go through all of this if you haven't. So yeah, Meridal got turned gray. Here's Jaren, the knight, the hero. There's Leisha, his little sister. She's gray. And that is Tormund Ellis. I know. I thought it was Jaren at first, but it's obviously Tor. That's his armor. That's his stuff in the background. It's hard to tell because they're both loops and they're both the same color now, but that is Tormund Ellis from the Darkest Fairy PlayStation game. And he's writing a letter to Roberta, who's also sorry, I can't even handle this. I can't talk about this normally. It's just too much. He is writing a letter to Roberta, who is the other protagonist from the Darkest Fairy game, and he put a heart in it. I just love that. So yeah, that sucks for Meridal. Sucks for Meridal. Sucks to be Meridal. And then he had to make it all about him. Scarl, oh no, you're gray. He's trying to fix the gray. We know by now that you can't fix it. And then yeah, we get this urgent message just calling all of the leaders of Neopia to a very urgent council to address this situation. So we've got the defenders coming in, the defenders of Neopia. We've got the Lost Desert people here. It's probably a little awkward there. The power couple of all time. Love to see them. And then we've got Darrigan and this loser Kangaroo, Altidore and Fiora here awaiting all of them as they're coming up on the shores, and everybody's here. Everybody's showing up. So that's the mayor of Molterra, and I just think it's so scary when a zombie who doesn't have a classic nose has this facial hair going on. I think that's insane. Honestly, I've always thought that. There's haughty Mr. Gavril McGill. He's the governor of Croc Island. The Ixie is Commander Valka. He's the leader of the resistance. And there is actually a big hunky Eerie here. Not the hunky Eerie that I was hoping to see, but it's still pretty cool because that is Chief Alder Honcho from Decardia of Island Builders, Neopets Island Builders fame, the new land Decardia from the app. That is actually the leader of Decardia, the chief. And fun fact, he's actually a queer icon. He has a husband. I'm so happy for them. And then next to him is my girl, Kairuggi, who is a Tyranian leader. And then I just love to see the 12. Not the 12. It's never going to be the 12. It's always going to be the 11. It's unfortunate, but true. I just love to see the 11. These are all Altidore's besties. Of course they're there since we're in Altidore. Dr. Landelbrot. And then this took me out. We have Orion over here, but he's just so short compared to what I thought and compared to Fiora. I just love it. He's just so, I love him. I love you, Orion. Anyway, yeah, we had a whole big conversation, just everybody trying to figure out what to do. Please do read read that. It's very compelling. And then look at Baelia. She's outside, just looking at all the novas flying around. I'd love to see novas as like a wildlife species. Like they're out here floating and flitting and flying around. I love that. Then we had Tavi. I loved the way this happened because initially you actually go to Fairyland and you see them interacting in Fairyland in situ. And it was just I loved it. And they had just such a really great conversation, honestly. And you can tell that they've been friends for years and that they've been trying to help with Baelia's condition. And it was just, I don't know, I just was so into that. And it just was so nice to see them like talking like they're good friends. And they've been good friends ever since Tavi got Baelia off the mountain. And then we had Naya come in and ask Baelia for her help because they can't figure out the gray curse. And so they decide to go to Meridel. And so here we are in Baelia's house, and everybody went crazy over Baelia's house being so ransacked like this. And I just see it honestly as like when you're depressed, you just don't care. It's real. It's true. It's like the last thing you want to do is maintain a house. So I totally think that this is accurate. It's sad, but true. And then they're off on their little journey. Look at the besties. I just love that. I read way too into this. I'm like, Tavi, why would you have horns on your little stick here when we are dealing with horns, like being an adversary right now? We're dealing with something with horns, the paintbrush, if you will, like time and place. And you did it at the Void Within plot. Just be careful where you're putting like twisty horns like that. And then the last page, the last comic of chapter 1 appears to be, this is the hole here that's been ripped in the void by Nyx. And then that, of course, is Nyx's arm with the little device. There's a little Phaley. He's hanging on by a thread. And she says, I hope this works. And I guess they're going to come through. Come through. If we zoom in, we've got some void creatures just wreaking havoc. There's like some pedestrians running. Oh no, not good. That does not appear to look good at all. So that's where we're at the end of chapter 1. And chapter 2 just started. And let's take a look at what we've got there because, oh my gosh. So we're officially on chapter 2, Filling the Void. And it says, Baelia and Tavi reach Brightvale only to find strange creatures running amok and catching a glimpse of someone fleeing the scene. Oh, this is so good. Before they get a chance to find out who it is, Tavi is attacked. Okay, girls. Well, I can tell you who it is because here we go. There's Brightvale and it looks like something's happening. And yeah, we kind of saw that coming, honestly. Oh boy. It's Roberta. Oh my gosh, sorry, I cannot be calm. I cannot be normal or calm. It's Roberta. So now we've got Tor and Roberta confirmed sightings. They are back. They're so back, baby. We are so back in the Darkest Fairy PS2 era. For real. Roberta, my girl, out on the front lines. She's a sorceress and she knows what she's doing. And I just love her. And by the way, your boyfriend is Gray. I'm sure she knows she got the letter. Anyway, oh my gosh. Okay. And then there's like, some little voidlings. I guess that's what they're called in the sky, voidlings. They're kind of cute. I like them. They're just flittering around. Tavi's like, what are these things? And Baelia's like, I don't know. You look so gorgeous, by the way, Baelia. In the background. Just like crimes being committed. Okay, so many crimes. Oh, I love it. Yes! Vera did not come to play. She brought the lasso of lies. She's got this crazy green lasso thing that's like attached to her daggers or something. I don't even know what I'm looking at, but I love it. Yes, Vera! Vera said hot, evil villain summer, and I love it. So she appears to be instigating, making things worse, fighting with Roberta, but also she's like the spotter for the painter. Whoever's been painting this whole time is right there in broad daylight, not even concerned if anyone sees their face, which we kind of do over here, by the way. Is that a Yerbal I see? A mysterious Yerbal? Oh my god. Yerbals finally getting their moment. Yerbals. We have, you guys, it's 2024 and we have a Yerbal villain, like a big, bad, scary Yerbal villain. What? Pinch me. Is this real? Am I dreaming? Like, am I dead? And like, I lived a good life and now I'm in heaven and this is heaven? Is that it? Have I been dead the whole time? Comment down below if I'm dead. If you know if I'm dead or if I'm dreaming, comment down below because we have a Yerbal in the plot. Like, what is this? What is going on? Villain Yerbal villain. Put it everywhere. Just tell the world that the villain is a Yerbal. Oh my God. Wow, good for Yerbals. Great for Yerbals. This is a really big day for Yerbals. And not only is the villain a Yerbal, but the villain's so cute. I mean, just the little bit that we get from their face right here. And they got long hair and it's like in a ponytail. We're screwed. We're really screwed here. We've got this sad emo artist who's dressing like a poet and wielding a paintbrush and has very long hair tied in a ponytail. Vera's like, that's enough fun for one day. And then Tavi says, you two, wait. And then I guess Tavi gets attacked. Hey, Tavi, I like your hairstyle. I just love that these like low ponytails are in style right now in Neopia. Like super low ponytails. I guess it makes sense for the Kyrie and the Yerbal because they have that long mane. Anyway, I'm done roasting you guys' hairstyles. I do love though, I'm not done actually. And it's not a roast. I do love that the besties here, like we've got Baelia with the notably high ponytail. And then we have Tavi with the notably low ponytail. Like they're really representing the entire spectrum of ponytails between the two of them. I love that. And I already collected my prize for the day. I couldn't wait. But normally after you finish reading the comic, you scroll down and there's like a very clear collect your prize button and you'll just click that and you get a prize every time you read the comic, which is cool. Anyway, Bright Veil, how we doing? How we doing, Bright Veil? Oh yeah, baby. Yes. Yep. Yeah, looks about right. I still have to collect my essence actually for the day. So while we're out and about, let's do that before we go to the Battle Dome. And it was announced today that they're going to start rotating the locations. So the essence is going to be in a different place for everybody, I think, because there wasn't any essence. Oh yeah, see, I've got essence here and I think it's going to be different for everybody because the first few weeks it was just Rue Island, Bright Veil, and Meridel. And now it looks like they're kind of rotating every day. They're going to be in 3 different places and I gotta go find the others. I got 3 in Fairy City. Any down here in Morocco? You guys doing okay down here? Are you guys all safe and sound down here in the bottom of the ocean? Good for you. Must be nice. All right, got 3 more here in the plaza. Ooh, and then I got my last 4 here just at the Lost Desert. I've been waiting so long for this. I've been training so hard for this. And the great thing about this one too is now if you don't want to do the Battle Dome at all, you can volunteer at the Neo Hospital. Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. Like that's so serious too. Like the hospital, there's just so many injuries. Oh, it's Toracor. I love the 12. What can I say? An eerie stillness hangs heavy in the air as the malevolent forces behind the Grey Curse finally emerge from the shadows, their darkness threatening to swallow Neopia as the color is drained from entire lands and otherworldly creatures descend upon kingdoms in targeted attacks. Join your fellow reservists on the front lines to help defend lands as they are raided. So on the 8th of July, yeah, Vera, the cursed pop culture icon, was spotted alongside a mysterious Yerbal. Shout out to Yerbals! You made it! You guys finally made it! Yes! So they're commanding an army of otherworldly creatures that they have been overheard referring to as Shades. Shades! That's sick! I love it! The Shades? Like, what? Oh, that's so good. After receiving word of this shadowy swarm wreaking havoc across the land of Bright Veil, Toracor has already been mobilizing reserve troops to the Erudite Kingdom. If you have the strength to help defend Neopia, now's the time to wield it. Let's go. Let's go. How hard is it though? Like how hard is it? Because I should be able to handle anything. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can definitely handle them. So the easy, that's actually really doable, honestly. And I urge you, like if you want to try it, I would definitely recommend starting out at the Swashbucklers Academy. That's a little bit cheaper. You're going to be paying with doubloons instead of Codestones. Try to stay away from Codestones as long as possible. Also try to train up to the max of everything else before level. That way you're paying the least amount because every time your pet goes up to a certain level, you start paying more, if that makes sense. So that means train strength, train defense. You don't really have to worry about agility right now. It's kind of an obsolete stat. Train endurance. Train those until they say you can't train them anymore because you need to go up in level, then train level. That way that you're saving money. Grab yourself 2 scrolls of Ultranova. They're 1 Neo point. super cheap. Those are super great for beginners. You can also grab a magical healing potion, which is another super cheap one for your first healing item. And then if you really want to like go up, there's some mid-level things I can recommend. Lesser healing scroll I used for the longest time, as well as turned tooth. Those are both kind of mid-range price, but they are pretty affordable for most people, especially if you're wanting to get more serious about the Battle Dome, but you're not at the level yet where you're wanting to spend millions, as well as the Scarab Ring. I think that's a pretty good one. The Leaf Shield is really good, and that's super, super affordable. And then the Hanso Charisma Charm is also really, really good. And then, yeah, as far as like upper level stuff, I'll show you what I use because I can't recommend it enough. I absolutely love the items that I use. The Feel Better Soup is pretty affordable for what it does. It's still up there, but it's one of the best healing items in the game. Void Blade, ironically, I've been using this for years. Varia is the bomb. You've probably heard me talk about this one. These are two pretty big investments. Mystical Tablet might have gone up, but they were in the prize pool for the weeklies for a while, so they went down quite a bit, and I grabbed one because it's another great item. And I have been using this Leaf Shield since I was a beginner. This thing's awesome. So yeah, those are my kind of discombobulated all over the place recommendations for the Battle Dome, but in the description I will link some great resources, and I will say that people have been so helpful and kind on the Void Within official Neo board. They have been giving out a lot of beginner Battle Dome advice, but that's just kind of off the cuff stuff that I recommend based on my experience with it. And I'll try to briefly explain this. I wish I could go into more detail, but we have so much to go over in this video, and Battle Doming is a whole video in and of itself. But a brief overview of what you're looking at here, because I know it can be intimidating if you're not used to it. Once you bring your items in here, you've got two little spaces for using items. Some items are one use, so that means when you use them, they disappear. And then other items are just once per battle. There's some items that you can use every turn, like my Void Blade I can use every turn, but then I can only use my Varia as the bomb once. And you can do, offense, defense, healing in these two squares. And then this third square here is for abilities. You are able to train abilities based on your pet's level, as well as the amount of blessings that you have from weak bottled fairies after you open them for your pet, for your Battle Dome pet. And there's a lot of places, again, online or on the Neo boards where you can find out what the best abilities to train up to will be for your pet, but that is where those go. And yeah, let me just rough these guys up real quick, if you don't mind. And then we'll go over to the hospital and see what we can do there to help. Oh, we got a big one. The Prowler. Yeah, betrayal, backstabbing is what he had to say. Oh yeah? Who's betraying? Who's betraying? Wait, what? What was that? Wait, I'm reading into this. What was that you were saying? Betrayal and backstabbing? Who said that? Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. All right. So I figured out that you can battle up to 200 plot points every day, which is kind of a lot. That's a lot. So I did all that, but I just want to quickly, I don't know. I think I'm going to, when should I talk about this? While I was battling these voidlings and the Void Prowler, I just want to say right now that I gathered some startling information from talking to them. Yeah, try talking to them. Did you ever even consider talking to them for a second and hearing them out? I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional because I'm actually going to wait until we get to the speculation, the predictions part at the end. But I want to show you my findings, and I want to show you kind of what they told me, because it was really sad that the little guys just said stuff. Pay attention to what they say, because it's actually crazy, and we'll talk about it in more detail very soon. Anyway, off to the hospital. Oh, there he is. There's the Geller. We were all worried about you. Handsome. Welcome to the Neopian Hospital volunteer team. Your compassionate spirit will play a vital role in aiding others in their difficult battles. Thank you for joining us and making a difference. Yeah, of course. Okay, so join shift. Are you ready to lend a healing hand to Neopians affected by this battle? If so, the first step is selecting which of your Neopets, okay, good, will be volunteering. Because as much as like Mosin wants to help and Mosin does care, let's pick, okay, if you know my pets, we have to pick the pet that's going to be most likely to help. So we already know that's not going to be Vicious, not going to be Victor, even though he is a nice guy, but he's just too miserable. Pickle, I feel like he would just be in the way. Unfortunately, he wants to help, he does. Where's all my other pets? I thought they were on the next page. No, they're just all cogwheels today. Wait, oh my God, I'm sending Hawthorne Hawthorne because Hawthorne's a doctor. Wait, no. Oh my God. Yeah, it's going to be Hawthorne. Normally he would be a very handsome wereloop. This is so perfect. Oh my God. My story in my head. Because now I'm thinking like, Hawthorne was called in because they need other doctors. You know how like when there's a disaster and they need doctors from like other locations? Hawthorne, go help. You're a doctor. Your pet has joined the volunteer team. Thank you for your dedication. Yeah, of course. This is what Hawthorne lives for. He took the oath, do no harm. Hawthorne is volunteering. Aw, let's go look at Hawthorne really quick. Dr. G. His name's Dr. G. Okay, has this always been his name? Dr. G. Okay, Dr. G. Here's Hawthorne. Look at how handsome he is. All right, so now that that is all out of the way and out of my system, I think we should probably do some speculating. Like we should probably make some assumptions and do some speculating on what could possibly be in the future for us. Like what we could possibly be in for. How bad is it? It's pretty bad, I think. I'm obviously going to be speculating by myself alone to the computer, but I would love for all of you to do the same down in the comments. I not only need and crave and actually require this social interaction with my friends, with my Neopets friends, where you tell me what you're thinking too, every thought in your brain about this plot, please, in the comments. But additionally, in addition to me needing that, I actually have it on good authority that if 10 of you comment down below your predictions for what we could see in the coming days in terms of the plot, and are also subscribed to Neopets YouTube channel and also my channel, you could win 5,000 Neocash. But yeah, let's talk a little bit. I ended up kind of just running some experiments where I wasn't just one-shotting everybody all the time, because the little voidlings and the void prowler kept saying things that were really interesting to me. The voidling was like, away, leave, be gone, get away from me. And it's like, you're not trying to fight me, are you? Like, you don't want to fight, do you? And then it gets really sad, you guys, because then he goes, no touch, make better. Like, what? It said, know my pain. That's so sad. Like, okay, I will. And then it said, can't hurt me, not again. What? And then this was so weird. This was so out of pocket. Get them before they get you. Okay, yeah, that's the plan for sure. Oh my God. And then one said, better off alone. What? No, you're better off in my house living with me because I'm taking you in. Come on, all of you, get in. Something is off about these little guys. Like, they're the victims, I think. And then the prowler, we saw him say betrayal, backstabbing, which is like, from who? Like, did you get betrayed? Like, I don't want to fight them anymore. I'm done with the battle dome, you guys. It's sad. And then when I defeated it, this is what blew my mind. When I defeated the prowler one time, he said, you ... helped me. I did. Because I thought I was like beating you to a pulp, but that's kind of a big deal to me. It feels like these are little guys that are reluctant to fight us, and they might be trapped in this void stuff. You know what I mean? Because they were telling us not to touch them and to get away, and that something was hurting them, like something or somebody was hurting them. And then they kept talking about silence and like how they wanted it to be quiet and stuff. And it's like, these little guys, whatever they are suffering. And I hate that. I just hate that. My initial like crazy conspiracy theory is that you remember how we read that one story that will never get out of my mind from the trick-or-treat bags with the shadow usul? If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's so good. It's basically like this journal entry, and it talks about how the shadow usul was like terrorizing this small village, and then it kind of just spirited away the whole village except for one person. And I'm wondering, is that what they become? Like, people who get put into the void by these villains? Do they initially and then we saw with Nyx and with the little Phaley that they get corrupted by the void if they touch it, and it starts to hurt them. And that's why that one voidling said, no touch, make better. They're trapped or something. I just hate to see like little suffering, miserable imps. I hate it. Oh, I know we haven't talked about this a whole lot, but the Altador Cup is coming, you guys. It's right around the corner. How is all of this going to affect that? Because it seems like that's going to be our event that we're all going to attend to get that requirement out of the way for the plot. So it's obviously a part of the plot. And I know that in the AMA that I hosted about the plot with the creative team, TNT Stone was saying that if we want more from the plot, that we need to attend the Festival of Nags, which we did, and there was some plot stuff there. So I think it's safe to assume that the Altador Cup is going to be insane. And that makes me wonder, like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean it's going to be a part of the plot? No, Tantric Shay, get out of the way. Like, I will jump in front of him. Please don't turn him gray. You would not be able to play UU ball if you're gray. I'm sorry, but as a UU ball player, I just personally know from experience that it's really hard. And you would not be able to compete in the Altador Cup if you were turned gray. There's just no way. You know, I don't even want to see you try. I think it would be so pathetic to watch a gray cursed Neopet try to play in the Altador Cup. I don't know how the curse and what's happening is going to affect the games, but I know it's going to in some way. Who's next? You know, like I'm sure that we're not done seeing entire lands get grayed out. So who is next? And just please don't be Dargan Citadel. They don't deserve it. Can you imagine Fairyland getting turned gray? Haven't they been through enough? No, probably not. I'm sure you could turn them gray. Sure, why not? Do it for the drama, you know? I wonder if it'll follow the same trajectory of the posters, where it was like the Meridel poster was first, and then the Bright Veil poster, and so on. But then again, maybe we'll get some grayified lands like Shenku or the Lost Desert or other places that didn't have a poster. I just, you know, like, I wonder what the next land to be grayed out will be. Like, are they going to turn everything gray? I think that's probably the goal of whoever's behind this, but I don't know. Speaking of who's behind this, who is behind this? You know, like, who are these people? Why are they doing this? And who are you also? We know Vera for sure. And then there's that dark fairy. Who is the dark fairy? We have some silhouettes of like a fairy with horns. You know, there's been other indications that it's a dark fairy. It's definitely some hot, mean baddie with horns. And I just wonder who it is, if it is Dracara. I think a lot of us are assuming it's Dracara because of the horns, but it could just be that, like, that's a thing that some fairies have. I will say that, like, the paintbrush, you know, have you ever noticed that it has horns on it? I know, right? Horns seem to be a thing. Like, who's got the horns? Who's so obsessed with these horns? And then I noticed that there is a new prize that's being given out by the discarded magical blue Grundo plushie of Prosperity, who is no longer blue because he was turned gray also. Like, is nothing sacred? Like, nothing is off limits for these people. They're sick. So he's gray currently, and he's giving out these new prizes. And one of the prizes that he's been giving out is a plushie that is just kind of interesting to me. I honestly think that this is a huge deal. I won't lie. This item is called the Discarded Fairy Artificer plushie. And an artificer is like a skilled inventor, crafter, and the description of this plush is an ancient time-worn plushie depicting a bygone office once held in the Fairy Queen's court. The position was done away with so long ago that few who still walk Neopia today remember who last held the title. ... That is so foreboding. That is so foreboding. That is confirmation that, like, whoever this fairy is, she's got the horns too, by the way, the plush. Whoever this fairy is with the horns, like, that's who that is. She used to be the official Fairy Queen's artificer. She was an inventor. Oh my God. We are so cooked. You guys, we're cooked. Yeah, I mean, if this fairy is not only like powerful, but also an inventor, you know what I mean? Like, she probably invented the paintbrush. She's probably inventing other stuff as we speak that's going to kill us in new and excruciating ways. I don't know, but I just thought that was really interesting, that plushie. And I just think that we should all really pay attention to that plushie in particular. So speaking of this fairy, right? Vera was cursed by a dark fairy. So who was that? Nobody's ever known that, but we do know that it's a dark fairy because because, you know, what's their connection? Why do they know each other? They apparently go way back, according to the Fairy Festival comic, where it was like, we planted these seeds long ago. So clearly they go way back, right? Can we assume that this is the fairy that cursed Vera? And if so, why would Vera be working with her? Wouldn't they have beef? Like, wouldn't Vera be kind of mad at this fairy for cursing her? Unless this fairy has promised her that, like, if you do all these things with me, if you do this, that, and all this other stuff, I will either reverse the curse, or I will turn you hot like you always wanted, like as hot as you ever wished to be. I will make you beautiful again, or more beautiful, or whatever, because, you know, Vera will do anything for that. So maybe that's the situation there. Then I'm wondering about the other leaders. So we have all the leaders in the room, right? And we have Scarl turned gray. Yes. Do you think they're going to turn any of the other leaders gray? Like, who's going to be the next big high profile graying? Who's next? You know, is it going to be an Altador Cup player, or is it going to be another leader? I wonder if they're going to do any more dailies too. I really don't want to see this, but I also do. I think it would be so crazy if they did the Snow Ager. It would be so sad. There's a Yerbal that's on the loose currently doing crimes. You really think a Yerbal could do all this? Maybe. I don't know. Because then again, we had all those trick or treat bags. What was that all about? You know, isn't this like someone we know? What about Scarblade? What's he up to? I feel like he said he was coming for us. You know, what about Lord Cass? Where's he? I don't know. I'm getting myself all worked up. What's going on? Wait, what's happening? Is really the feeling here. And then Baelia, like, what are you doing, Baelia? Are you mad at us? Are we finally gonna help this girl? I feel so bad for her. Like, look at the house. Like, girl, you live like this? That's enough. That's enough from me. Make sure to comment your way more coherent speculations down below in the comment section, and subscribe to my channel as well as the Neopets YouTube channel. And 10 of you will be randomly chosen to win 5,000 Neocash each. Thank you to Neopets. And this is not like the last time that you'll see me, unfortunately. I think we're gonna need to do this like once a month. Maybe we'll have some live plot prediction parties. Maybe we'll bring in the creative team at Neopets to hold them accountable for what they're doing to us when things get really bad, you know? So let me know if you want to see more of this, if you would want to see like a live version of this where we could just talk in the moment and we can go over what's happening and I can just react to things and you can react with me and we can all react together like we're watching our show, because this is our show. These are like totally my soaps, but also I'm like participating in the soaps and it's awful and amazing all at the same time. Thank you so much for bearing with me, for suffering along with me. And by suffering, I mean, we are living. It is 2024 and Neopets is so back and there's a plot. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think.